Hey, how you guys doing? Today we are going to show you how to work the type tool in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm using Photoshop CC. I'm going to go ahead and create a new document. Now the type tool should work, well, this tutorial should apply to any version of Photoshop that you're using. So we are going to make a standard letter size document. This is our tool palette that once you get used to using Photoshop, you'll start familiarizing yourself with all these tools and what each tool do. So this T icon here represents the type tool. When I click into an empty document, our toolbar here changes. So for instance, let me cancel that out. If I use the crop tool, this bar up here, the selection represents the tool that we're currently using. So right now I'm gonna go back to the type tool. I'm gonna increase my font size just like any other word processing or Microsoft Word or anything that uses a type tool in general. You can adjust font sizes. Now I'm gonna touch inside our canvas. This box here represents the color of our font. Make it red, make it black, and come here, make it different variations of green. So right now, just for kicks and giggles, I'm gonna keep it at black. Got a font size of 24. This here give us a few options. Now all fonts don't have this option. So for instance, Mirror Pro have this option, but Layout UI only has a regular and a bold option. So all fonts have different variations of fonts. Some fonts doesn't have any variations at all. So most computers have Arial, whether you use Mac or PC. So I'm gonna stick with Arial, and we're gonna type the words for this video. Now that checkbox that we just hit, this confirms our text. This right here would cancel our text. So this confirms text that we just typed. Now the type tool is very powerful. And when you're designing things in Photoshop, generally, I say over half of the things that you do in Photoshop, you're going to be utilizing the type tool in some sort. Now when you type in things in Photoshop, let's go to Window and Character. There's all these other different assortment of options. So I can adjust the kerning. I can slide across this to increase it, go the other way to decrease it. I can manually input the numbers, so let's go back to 100%. Oh, sorry, that was a spread. So let's take this back to 0. And that takes it back to a standard size. You can make things bold. You can add or italicize just about any font that doesn't have that variation standard. You can make things all caps. You can make just the first letter of a sentence caps. And all these other different options. You can change things from sharp, crisp, smooth. You can change different languages. All those cool things. Now, we can go for hours talking about the type tool, but right now I'm just giving basic knowledge on how to use it. So let's say I wanted to, let's make this all caps. I'm gonna hit Control T and manually adjust the size of my type. I can go the other way. I can adjust this like this, change the height, that, and I'm gonna hit this check mark to confirm, or you can hit Control Enter, which also confirms. Now I don't like that, it looks terrible, so I'm gonna hit Control Z to go back. I'm gonna hit Control T to reinitiate our free transform tool, And while I'm holding down the shift key, I'm going to adjust the size, which keeps everything in proportion for me. Release everything and hit this checkbox to confirm what I just did. Now, just like with just about everything in Photoshop, you can adjust the style of this text. Now this is going to open up our layer style palette. I can add a stroke, adjust the color. I can make a purple stroke or a pink stroke. And let's make a red stroke. I can increase the size of it. I'm sorry, that's inside. This is outside. I can increase the size of it up to 250% or pixels. I can add glows. I can make an overlay of the text. Tons and tons and tons of options. I can add a gradient to my text. You can customize these and add your own. You can add a rainbow gradient or a red and green gradient, or I can double click this and I can customize these colors. I can make that green, make that black, maybe come back, change the stroke, make that gray. I can add drop shadows to my text. I can come out here and manually move around where the shadow goes, which also adjusts in here. If you notice when I move this, it moves those settings inside. So take your time, learn what these things do, master them, and in no time you'll be a professional at editing text.